Okay, happy Monday. Today's Monday, September 24th. It is our quadruple birthday celebration day, which we'll deal with at the end of the day. But for now, let's turn our attention towards math. Okay, today we're moving right along with Eureka Math. We're doing lesson 1.13, that's module 1, lesson 13. And learning goal today, you're going to use what you know about place value to help you divide a decimal by a whole number. Okay, so we're going to be taking a decimal and dividing it by a number that's a whole number. But first, let's review what we know about multiplying decimals by looking at the problem of the day. Once again, I want to show you that this is how you use numbers to show something. This is how you use words. You can notice that there's actually words here, right? And this is how you use pictures to show multiplication. Today, if we're going to start talking about division, we have to understand what it means to divide. Okay, at your table groups, I want you to talk about what does it mean if a math problem says to divide something. Why might you divide? When in real life do you use division? What does it mean to divide? Go ahead and talk. Okay, one meaning of division means, let's talk about this one first, means you need to share something evenly. This is the most common thing I heard you guys say. Like if you're at a birthday party and you have one cake and you have to share it equally amongst 8 people. We can use division to figure out how to share something evenly. If I have a cake and I want to share it with my friends at the red table, I have to share one cake into how many pieces? 5. And then the amount that Arnav gets, which should be the same as the amount Sawyer gets, which is the same as Shivani, Rahi, and Maddie's amounts. The amount they get is the answer to that division problem. Do you agree? Okay. So go ahead and write down one meaning of division is to share something evenly. The second meaning of division, though, is if I need to split something into groups. If I need to find out how many groups I can make. If we have 32 kids in our class and I want 16 people in each group, how many groups can I make?
2.
2 groups, right? So one way of division is sharing something, and another way of division is finding out how many groups of something I can make. Go ahead and draw yourself a place value chart. You'll need ones, tenths, hundredths, and thousandths in your place value chart. In your tenths column, go ahead and draw dots. Let's take a look at how many dots I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many dots do I have altogether in my tenths column? 9. What number is represented by this drawing?
9/10.
9/10. Very good. I want to figure out how I can divide these 9/10 into 3 groups. Well, since I want to divide them into 3 groups, I'm going to draw 3 groups down here. Here would be group number 1, here would be group number 2, and here would be group number 3. If I want to split these 9/10 into 3 equal groups, am I sharing the 9 dots or am I putting the dots into groups? I'm sharing the 9 dots amongst 3 groups. Okay, let's see how we do that. I'm going to move this one dot here to this one. I'm going to move this dot to this group. I'm going to move this dot to this group. Do you see how each group now each has 1 dot? Do I have more dots left to share?
Yes.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that again. So I'm going to go back, put that dot there, put this dot here, and put this dot here. Now how many dots does each group have?
2.
2. Very good. Do I have more dots left to share?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead. Here, this one goes here, this one goes here, and this one goes here. Now how many dots does each group have? 3. Do I have any more dots to share? No, I used them all up. Now that I've run out of dots to share, how many dots are in each group? 3. There's 3/10 in each group. Okay, so 3 groups of 9/10 is 0.3 or 3/10 because in each group there are 3/10. Do you see that? So therefore, math equation-wise, if I have 9/10 and I divide it into 3 groups, how many are in each group? 3 dots, but it's 3 what? 3/10. So 0.3. Go ahead and write down in your notebook these words. 3 groups of 9/10 is 0.3, and then write the math equation. 0.9, or 9/10, divided by 3 is 0.3. This time, we're not starting with 9/10 anymore. What are we starting with? 24 what's? Hundredths. So that means I need to put 24 dots in my hundredths group. I know some of you guys are thinking, wait, but I know that 20 hundredths is the same thing as 2/10. Don't worry, not today. Today we're going to unbundle them and draw them in the hundredths column. So how many dots do I have to put in our hundredths column, everyone? 24. Go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. How many groups are we trying to divide it into? 4. So go ahead and draw yourself 4 spaces to divide. So there's my first space. There's my second one, 3 and 4. You might have to extend your lines just like me. Now we can see that we have 4 groups ready to receive dots. Here's my first group, there's my second group, there's my third group, and there's my fourth group. See that? Now let's start sharing dots. I'm going to put 1 dot into this one, 1 dot into this one, 1 dot into this one, and 1 dot into this one. Now how many dots are in each of my 4 groups? 1. Do I have more left to share?
Yeah.
Okay. Once we run out of dots, let's see how many dots are in one group. How many dots are in one group, everyone? 6. There's 6 dots in one group, but each dot is worth 1 what? 100th. You'll notice this time they're in the hundredths column. So 6 dots in the hundredths column is equal to 6 hundredths. So 4 groups of 24 hundredths is 6 hundredths. How do I write 6 hundredths in standard form? Maddie? 0.06. So therefore, 0.24 divided by 4 equals 0.06. Another way to say that is 4 groups of 24 hundredths. It actually should be 4 groups of 6 hundredths is, 6 hundredths is 24 hundredths. Do you see how I mixed it up? I swapped them around, right? Because would 4 groups of 24 hundredths be 6 hundredths? No. This place value chart shows 8 groups of 4 thousandths, because here I have 1 group, and in that group I have 4 thousandths, and altogether I have 8 groups. So that's 8 groups of 4 thousandths. How much do I have altogether? How many thousandths did I draw altogether with those dots? Everyone? 32 thousandths. Good. So I can show this division sentence as 32 thousandths divided into how many equal groups? 8 groups. And how much is in one group? 4 thousandths. Once again, I'm going to say it one more time. The units are super important. So this place value chart shows this division sentence. 32 thousandths divided by 8 equals 4 thousandths. When we have a problem like this, 9.36 divided by 3, it can be helpful to split things up into parts. Just like we did when we had an area model, we have, sorry, I'm going to make it small again. Okay, we have 9 ones. Do you agree? And then we have 3 tenths. And then we have 6 whats? 6 hundredths. We can divide each of those parts by 3 separately. If I have 9 ones and I want to split it into 3 equal groups, how much would be in each group? What's 9 divided by 3? Everyone, what's 9 divided by 3? 3. What are my units here? 3 ones. Okay. If I have 3 tenths and I want to split it into 3 groups, how many would be in each group? What's 3 divided by 3? 1. What's my units? Okay. If I have 6 units, if I have 6 things and I split it into 3 equal groups, how much are in each group? 2. But what are my things? Hundredths. So I have 2 hundredths. Okay. So if I have a number, if my final answer is 3 ones plus 1 tenth plus 2 hundredths, the answer would be 3.1 tenth, and then I have 2 hundredths. So therefore, 9.36 divided by 3 is equal to 3.12. Here on the place value chart, we're showing that 9 ones divided into 3 groups will give me 3 groups, and how much is in each group? 3 whats? So are you seeing how this is related to the work we were doing here? Very good. Same thing with the tenths. I have 3 tenths, so I get to put 1 in each group. That's the same thing we were doing here. 3 tenths divided by 3 will give me 1 in each of the tenth groups. That's the same thing that we were doing up here. See how it's related? Okay. Last but not least, I have 6 hundredths, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If I do 6 hundredths divided into 3 groups, what do I get in each group? 2 hundredths. So when I add up all of those parts, one group will have 3 ones, 1 tenth, and 2 hundredths. Once again, that's the same thing we were doing here, and here it is in standard form. This one's tricky because if I divide it into 3 ones, can I do 3 ones divided by 5?
No.
Does that work easily?
No.
Can I do 3 divided by 5?
No.
Why not? Is that a math fact we know? No. So we don't want to do it like that. Instead, if I split it here, what are my 2 numbers? What number do I have there? 35. Is that easily divisible by 5? Good. What number am I left with here? Is that also easily divisible by 5? So we want to split it in a way that will make our lives easier. So instead of saying 3 and 5, I can say 3.5 plus 0.05. Do you see how that's the same thing? I can name 3.5 as 35 whats? Tenths. Very good. I can rename 0.05 as 5 whats? Hundredths. Very good. Okay. So we can think of this problem in 2 parts. We can have 35 tenths divided by 5, and then we can have 5 hundredths divided by 5. What's 35 divided by 5? 7. So what's 35 tenths divided by 5? 7 tenths. Very good. What's 5 divided by 5? So what's 5 hundredths divided by 5? 1 hundredth. Do you see how it's very important to know your math facts? Okay, so if my answer is 7 tenths plus 1 hundredth, I know the answer is 0.71.